You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, my God, this league is full of drama, absolute drama. Now, we knew when Christine Brennan, the journalist who wrote the upcoming Caitlin Clark book, I received mine on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, hardcover. Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to read it. And my God, the stories emerging from this book is going to light the league on fire. I mean, seriously. We got an altercation between Brennan and Dijonai Carrington. It doesn't even have to do with the eye gouge, which we know Dijonai flipped her wig off over at Christine Brennan, but we got a confrontation. Dijonai Carrington went after Christine Brennan because she thought she was talking trash about her Nalyssa Smith, because that's real professional in a league, in a professional league, to have a confrontation with a journalist because you got a personal relationship with a player. You see the issue there, folks? This is exactly why people say this will never be a serious league as long as certain things continue to happen that are just not happening in other professional leagues. I mean, seriously. Wow. Here we go. And guys, this isn't the only Dijonai Carrington video I've got coming. I've got one coming right after this that has to do with Tawana Bonner. So, let's do it right here. My God. So, let's see. Where am I at? The Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun faced off in the first round of last season's WNBA playoffs. The Sun ended up sweeping the Fever 2-0, but it turns out there was a behind-the-scenes confrontation involving current Dallas Wings guard Dijonai Carrington, who was with Connecticut at the time, and Christine Brennan, the author of On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. Several hours before Game 2 of the series, Dijonai Carrington poked her head through a curtain where Brennan, Indianapolis Star Fever beat writer Chloe Peterson, and Fieldhouse Files reporter Scott Agnes were standing. So they were standing behind a curtain having a conversation. That's when Dijonai Carrington shouted, quote, "Why are you talking shit about Nalyssa Smith?" Question mark. My God. It's important to note that Carrington and Smith were not even teammates at the time, as Nalyssa Smith was on the Fever. However, they are in a romantic relationship off the court. So professional. Brennan, who included the confrontation in her book, admitted that Carrington's actions surprised the three writers. Quote, "The question surprised the three of us because no one was saying anything personal or derogatory about Nalyssa Smith," Brennan wrote. Agnes and Peterson had been discussing a bit of Fever strategy they had just noticed on the court, but had been asked not to divulge publicly that Nalyssa Smith was going to be replaced in the starting lineup for Game 2 by veteran Temi Fagbenle. A wise move by the now gone Christy Sides. Man, really. So they were talking about absolute basketball business. That's what that is right there. That's basketball business. A player is getting replaced on the court by another player on the team. Dijonai Carrington shouted again, quote, "You're saying she's a bad teammate," end quote. Carrington didn't stop there and locked eyes specifically with Brennan, adding, quote, "I walked past and I heard you talking shit about Nalyssa. It was you out of your mouth." This is not shocking to me. After she, you got to remember, these players tried to get Brennan run out of the league for the whole, she actually had the guts as a journalist to ask if the eye gouge on Caitlin Clark was on purpose? That's a question we absolutely wanted some journalist with any guts to ask. Of course, ESPN and most of the mainstream media shied away from it. Christine Brennan did not, and it pissed Dijonai Carrington and WNBA. It pissed all the WNBA players off. While Carrington's involvement ended there, she relayed what happened to Smith, who then approached the three writers as they stood on the court waiting to interview players. Quote, "Do you have something to say to me?" ? Nalyssa Smith asked Brennan. Quote, "I'm always happy to talk to you," Brennan answered. Several minutes later, after they returned to the tunnel, Nalyssa Smith questioned Brennan again. "What did you say?" Brennan stood her ground again, saying that neither she, Agnes, or Peterson would say anything negative about her. Nalyssa Smith said, quote, "You are lying." So professional. Things escalated with a WNBA official getting involved, along with the WNBA communications director, Sam Hager, Sun president, Jen Rosati. Just remember, she had a hand in Caitlin Clark not making the Olympic team, and Fever PR director, Ryan Stevens. The WNBA's Players Union wanted to ban Brennan for what she allegedly said. Before she knew it, the situation went viral. Brennan was called out by well-respected athletes she previously had strong relationships with. Dijonai Carrington chimed in once more, tagging Brennan on social media, calling her, quote, "goofy." Fast forward to today, Brennan's book has been released for several weeks. Carrington and Smith both started the season on the wings. Nalyssa Smith has now been traded to, you guessed it, the Las Vegas Aces, where she was putrid the other night. Really bad. Wow. And, you know, the jacked up part about that whole thing is they were behind a curtain talking about an actual basketball on the court situation. You see the conflict of interest in the relationships? Dijonai, who's playing for the Sun, went to a Fever player, Nalyssa Smith, and said, "They're running their mouth about you." Like number one, like this is gay high school. I mean, good God. I mean, literally runs and tells on her. It was the strategic conversation about a substitution change in the lineup that they weren't going to make public, was asked not to make public. And the person that's getting benched literally confronts the reporters. They weren't having a personal conversation about Nalyssa Smith and Dijonai Carrington. It wasn't like they were talking shit about them on a personal level. They were discussing basketball, an actual basketball issue. And again, why in the world is an opposing player running and telling? You would never see that. Can you imagine between the Yankees and the Red Sox? Between the Cowboys and the Eagles? Can you imagine? That's why regular sports fans call this crap out. Because in other sports, you would never see it. Ever. Hey, that reporter's talking shit because you're about to get benched or something. You would never, I mean, you just wouldn't see that. It's nuts. That is, man, I got to tell you, this league is wild. It is, I mean, it is complete. It's like the Wild West out there. And then they get mad at people like me or people on social media because they actually call them out for it. Well, no kidding. Do you know how big of a clown show this looks like? Of course. I mean, the lack of professionalism is wild. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. Before we jump in, make sure you go to our merch store. Our Make Basketball Great Again shirt and our newest shirt that just came out. Both shirts are brand new. The American Flag Skull Fever Enforcer shirt. and use promo code CC22 for 20% off.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.